Howdy everyone, I'm that gay artist. And with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse coming out very soon, I wanted to revisit an old trend that was going around when the first Spider-Verse movie came out. That being drawing yourself as Spider-Man, or as most people called it, the spider-sona trend. Like I just said, it was a trend going around when the first Spider-Verse movie came out, and it was fairly popular at that. A lot of artists drew themselves and their OCs as Spider-Man. Even I joined in on it, as you can see here. Obviously though, I made this when the first movie came out, so my art wasn't the best, and on top of that, neither was the design. It's not terrible, but it definitely could use a lot of work, and if I'm honest, it just looks like an alternative skin you get in a Spider-Man video game. But with that aside, to get to the point of this video, I'm going to be drawing/talking about my finalized spider-sona design. I say finalized, but knowing me, I'll end up going back and changing it still. But anyways, so roughly 2 years ago I came up with this concept, which is very different from the original and falls more in line with my persona, and overall I'm much more happy with this one compared to the original. However, I kept tweaking it ever so slightly roughly up until now with this version, which is only really slightly different from the second version, with the added shoes, pattern on the hoodie, and the colours also being shifted ever so slightly. But comparing this design to the original one, there are a lot more noticeable changes. For one thing, I traded out the red for a blue as the primary colour, even though really you could make the argument there's more black in this design than blue, but we won't get into that. And another noticeable change would be the added accessories, like the hair, the hoodie, the gloves and shoes. Although with all those added details, it kinda just makes the original look plain in comparison. Like I said though at the beginning, the original design isn't terrible. In fact, there's still a lot of things I like about it. One of those being the underarm webbing. I really like it when this detail is added into Spider-Man suits, so when I was working on the original, it was a no-brainer I was going to add it there too. Unfortunately though, they were one of the things that got lost while working up to the most recent design. I just couldn't figure out a way to fit them in nicely, so they ended up being scrapped. Which does suck, but it happens a lot when it comes into designing characters and that. I also mentioned in the most recent design that shoes were added. This little detail is more unique even comparing to the older ones. For a while I was going back and forth if I even wanted to add this detail, because I thought they looked nice and also matched the rest of the accessories. And ironically enough, something that helped me make my decision on this was actually looking at one of the trailers for Across the Spider-Verse. In said trailer you can see one of the characters, Spider-Gwen, wearing similar looking shoes, and I thought they looked really good there, so I added them to my design. With all that being said about the designs though, I wanted to talk a little bit on the actual artwork of this video. So obviously I had to have my character swinging through a city. I mean, come on, it's Spider-Man, it's either going to be wall crawling or swinging, it's really one or the other. Originally though, I wanted him to have a much more goofier looking pose while swinging, because I imagine like me, my spider-sona would be fairly clumsy, but due to a few things, mainly the fact that I couldn't get the pose to work, I just scrapped it for more of a classic looking Spider-Man pose. And as for the background of this artwork, this one was fairly tough for me. I'm not used to drawing out bigger backgrounds, so I was just going to use some preset building brushes. However, they looked really unnatural to me, and on top of that, they didn't match my style whatsoever. So instead, I got a couple of references and drew it out myself. Now I know for a fact that mine aren't perfect, but I'm just happy that I drew it out myself rather than using those preset brushes. Besides that though, there was a few other hiccups along the way with this artwork, but overall I'm really happy with it. And I'm also really happy that I went through the effort of actually redesigning my spider-sona. I mean, is it perfect? No, I'm sure there's still faults in it that people can point out. But at the end of the day, I'm really happy with it, and that's all that really matters. Well, anyways, that's all I got to say on this video, so I'll let the rest of the speed paint play for you all.